Hey, Heidi Ho, everybody, and welcome to the Retirement Railroad Friday Live and Mail Call. You can go through everybody that's here that I already did. Tammy and Ray, get the cookie for being first. Mr. Lynn McCurdy, my old standby, John, Schuylkill River Valley. Then we got then Mr. Bertelson showed up, and Dwight and Joe Rader, and then JB, Mr. Bannicky. And there's Al Marr. Hey, Al, good to see you. So, and I got my partner in crime here, Mr. John Linton. Audio checks out okay by my audio guru, John SRV, Schuylkill River Valley.
Good morning, all.
What's going on, Mr. Linton, C&E John?
Oh, not much here. Just other than a couple of teeth pulled yesterday. That's always fun.
You sound like Eeyore this morning.
Yeah, well, I've got to learn how to speak again.
Yeah.
It's heck getting old.
Yeah, it is. Well, I haven't been on. Let's see. I think it's 3 weeks now with no live stream, and there's been a reason behind it. And my wife and I decided to take a trip. And hey, Jason. I'm just that good, Jason.
Mm-hmm.
My picture's frozen, and I got the letters hanging there and so forth. But anyway, let me get back to my story. And so we went, stopped in Tennessee to visit the kids, my son and daughter-in-law, and my daughter and son-in-law, and spent a few days there. And then we went out to Oklahoma City to visit our other daughter, and we got to talking to her about some things, and she basically convinced us to move back to Oklahoma City. So, in that regard, you can take a look behind me. And there ain't much there.
Sure isn't.
Well, Heath, if you'd listen, you'd find out. We're moving. All right. Sold our house here in Florida and bought a house. Hey, Ben, good to see you. JD, good to see you. And sold the house here like that. And bought a house in Oklahoma City like that, and have been diligently spending my time turning the train room back into a lanai. You're absolutely right, Jason. As a matter of fact, I drove by and within a few miles of it twice in the last 2 weeks. So it is about a 4.5 hour drive from Oklahoma City to northeast side of Little Rock. So, well, thank you, JD. I'll be a lot closer to JD. And not only do we have a daughter there in Oklahoma City, I've got my brother in the Dallas area that lives fairly close to JD. So I imagine I'm going to be popping in on Grandpa Rails here one of these days in the not so distant future. Now that's all good news. The bad news is it's probably going to be at least 6 months or longer before I actually get to start building the Retirement Railroad 2.0. Because I did promise my wife, like every move, that we get the house and everything she wants done situated first. All right. And when we moved here, that took a year. So I'm anticipating that. The house does have a shed, and it's a decent sized shed, but it's not as big as what I want. So I'll probably replace it with a bigger one. I'm thinking ideally I'd like a 12 by 24.
Yeah, what's the current size now?
I don't know. I didn't measure it.
You didn't measure it. Yeah.
No, I think it's 10 by 16 maybe. So
And
we'll see. Hey, Mr. Dodge.
Everybody's asking about your koi.
The koi are gone. A friend of mine up in Orlando came down on Wednesday and picked them up. So they are gone, and all my koi equipment. So I have been busy.
Yes, you have.
And have tried to keep up with the everybody else's videos and live streams, but I've fallen short. The one I have to make sure I always hit though is JD and his grandson. Those mail calls are too precious not to watch. So, hey, Jack.
Yeah, got everybody coming in today.
Yeah, Jack. I'm in case you missed it, moving to Oklahoma City. Probably not, Heath. But I will never change my email address. No. Koi has been a huge part of my life. I remain a Koi judge. So that will always be part of it. Matter of fact, I already contacted some of my old Koi friends back in Oklahoma City, and they're just tickled that I'm coming back. And we bought a house about a mile away from the house that the kids grew up in. So the kids are all excited. The two that don't live there about being able to go home, so to speak. And
a question was, is your new layout still going to be Chicago-based?
Yes. What I'm anticipating is, again, a multi-tier folded dog bone, kind of on the style of Sparky's, where you got a helix on one end and a reverse back on the other end. All right, three track main line. All right, Chicago at the lower end, Chicago in the staging yard at the lower end, and Aurora at the upper end, and the suburbs and industries all along the way. Thank you, Jason.
And so you are going to make a helix.
Jack, I will. It's a possibility. We close on this house on the 27th. We close on the house in Oklahoma City on the 31st. The movers pick up on the 1st. So they're due to deliver like on the 4th. If they deliver on the 4th, I would have time to shoot down to the show at the fairgrounds on the 5th. I'm thinking. My wife doesn't know that. She's not home, so she hasn't heard me say that, so nobody say anything to her. Because I'd be shot.
Uh-huh.
The first order of business is to install a microwave. It's got a range hood, vent hood, and so I got to replace that with a microwave. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're much better to have over the range hood.
Yeah. Ben, still be Chicago based, late 60s, the era I grew up in, and all of the rolling stock and everything's all packed away. And I saved, of course, all the rolling stock and power units, most of the buildings, and the Pico switches I saved. The Atlas switches, I demolished those and felt great about doing it. I did save all my 70 some Smales, tortoises with decoders in them. So I have all that. You know, all my DCC stuff, all my both alpha meters, both Motorman, got all that stuff. Okay, so it's basically track, more switches, roadbed, and bench work that I'll need. So, hey,
Yeah,
Raymond.
Did you save all your cabinets that you had?
Yes, all but two. All right, the two that the turntable and roundhouse sat in, because of the way the roundhouse sits and the turntable sit, they were pretty much toast. So they're out in the dumpster. But
Okay.
the other let's see, two corner cabinets, two kitchen cabinets, 5-foot kitchen cabinets, and the one 3-foot sink cabinet here behind me. I got all those.
So you're planning on having cabinets as the base to your base work again?
Yes and no. I plan on using the cabinets as the base for work area. With the trackage, the 3-track main line going behind the lower level, the staging level going behind it, the middle level being slightly elevated above it. And those cabinets there's not enough of them to do the whole thing. All right. But I'll have the cabinets on the lower level for portions of it. All right. But again, for not as the base work for the layout, all of that will be mounted to the walls and with legs, and the cabinets will be more work area. Because on this layout, the one drawback as I progressed in building was I didn't have enough work area. All I have is this little 2-foot by 3-foot little thing here in front of me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's why I put mine up at a higher level, because I'll have workspace or cabinets under everything around here, even though I still don't have anything up here, but, I'm working on it. But, it's kind of like, how much work do I want to do in here? Because I still plan on having an outside shed. So how much do I really want to do in here? How long is it going to take me to get my shed? I may put up one side here. I may not ever complete the entire loop of this room,
Right.
just because of building outside. I've had thoughts of adding on to my existing shed, which is 14 by 16 now. Maybe I'll just add on to it and make the
Jason
entrance.
asked.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Jason asked if I need any replacement Atlas switches. No, Jason, not unless you want to watch me blow them up. I will never have another Atlas switch on the layout. So.
And see, so far I haven't had any trouble with my Atlas switches.
You run tortoises on them, and eventually you will.
Okay, so it's the tortoises that mess them up.
Yeah, the point rails, the attachment of the point rails on the throw is terrible, and the Atlas switches with the heavy tension of them will tear that up. Yeah, and yes, I understand there's a slide bar to adjust tension. I'm telling you, you'll have problems with it. It's a poorly designed thing. Whereas the Picos is like a tab bent through the tie, and it's a positive and stable joint. So
yeah.
Yep.
Have you thought about modifying them any? Well, you tore yours up.
Yeah, I modified them right into the garbage can.
Well, I'm talking about something you can help me with. Is there something I can modify?
I can help you I can help throw them into your garbage can too.
Yeah, oh, come on. Hey, I'm a poor guy. I can't afford to keep buying switches. Besides, most of
Well,
these Atlas I paid $2 for.
yep. You get what you pay for, John. That's all I'm going to tell you.
Okay, well, yeah,
Jason says they go to crap big time. I know it.
yeah,
They
yeah.
weren't
Well,
designed. They weren't designed for stall motor. They're designed for solenoid motor throws. Okay, and if you're going to use a stall motor such as a Tortoise, you're going to have problems because they're just not designed for that application.
okay, well, I do have my micro engineering switches, but I don't know what to do. I've ordered through my hobby shop. I've ordered straight through micro engineering, but neither of them seem to get the turnouts I needed. Over the last year, I've gotten 2 that I've ordered. Still
Oh.
need like 7 or 8 of them.
Yeah, Joe's using manual throws. That's fine. You can use that Atlas switch for a manual throw. As long as you still have to have not necessarily the motor on it, but you have to have something that's going to hold it in place. It's got to click into place, either spring loaded or something. And I'm not sure about that on Atlas. It's been so long since I've had a non-motorized Atlas switch. So.
Well, they do have those little toggle switches that you can.
Hey, James. I've never used an Atlas turnout, so I can't say one way or another about them, but they're basically Shinohara switches, which is good. Any new switch I buy will be electro switch. They'll have the powered frogs, yep, and rails. I just find that far more reliable. Even the Picos, I've had some shorting where wide flange wheels will cross over at the frog over the insulation joints, and I've had to use some hard as nails nail polish, clear nail polish on those areas to keep it from shorting. So using the electro frogs solves most of that type of issue. What's Jack? No, what did I miss? Tell them Jason fast switch. Fast track. Oh, fast tracks. Yeah. I don't know. I looked at fast track jigs. That isn't a viable alternative. I got to get a place to work first, and that's going to take some time. Hey, hi. Welcome. So,
Hi, my daughter will be here tomorrow, and she'll be heading back to the Netherlands on the 29th. So special package should be with her. So around the 30th, get in touch with me, and I'll get you her phone number so you two can figure out best way to get that special package to you.
I see. Okay, Jason. I was looking at the curved. The number 6 curve comes in a bunch of different radiuses. So I'm looking at that, and then I'm also looking at the number 6 straight. If I buy one jig and then do the other, I'll probably go with the curved jig, and then use paper templates after that, because I would think paper would be easier. Could be wrong, but I would think so.
Yeah.
Hey, did somebody say Lee's here? I didn't see Lee sneak in, but I see everybody. Yeah, there's Lee. Hey, Lee. So, for those that came in late,
go ahead.
For those that came in late, the big news is my wife and I are moving back to Oklahoma City, and thus the room behind me is emptying out. We close in a week from today on this house, but we're staying in it for part of the following week until we can get packed up and close on the other house. So then we get to build the Retirement Railroad 2.0.
Yeah, I've watched Jason's programs on the fast tracks, and if you're going to redo the majority of your switches because you got rid of your Atlas, then it makes sense to get those jigs.
Well, it doesn't. James brings up a good point. He doesn't want to mess with it. He buys Pico. You know, if I'm going to buy switches, it'll probably be Pico just because I'm familiar with it. And it all matters on how much time do you want to spend on different aspects of the hobby. All right. And roughly $30 a switch, US, or hand doing it. You know, you buy the jigs about $150, and you got to buy the tools and so forth. So let's just say for $200, all right, you can get into doing your own. And at $30, you know, a piece, that's 7 switches. You know, yeah, I've got 70. I don't know how many. I got to start on the design, but I got 70 switch motors. So, you know. Economically speaking, if I wanted to devote the time to hand laying, then the Fast Tracks is the way to go. So if I don't want to spend that, if I'd rather spend the time getting into the bench work right away or whatever, because you got to remember, once I get a shed, then I got to insulate it. I got to run electrical. All right. I got to sheetrock it. I got to paint it. I got to put an AC heater in it. You know, it's going to be a long while before I actually get into, and I got to design the layout. So I have it in my head, not dissimilar to what I had, just multi levels, not as congested, more spread out, bigger, longer sidings, bigger, longer yards. So. And a bigger and better Union Station. So anyway.
Mm-hmm. Bigger is better, right?
Yeah.
Yep. I'm still wanting, a 14 by 40 shed. I think that will be enough space where I can build the rest of my life and hopefully get it done before I die.
Yeah. I'm not worried about that.
Yeah. Well,
absolutely, Rayon. Once I get settled, like I said, my wife will have me doing everything in the house before I even begin to be able to work on a layout. Now, I still plan, once settled, you know, tentatively speaking, let's look at a calendar here real quick. Tentatively speaking, I will be on hiatus until Friday, after this, hiatus until Friday, December 1st, as far as live streams go.
Okay.
All right, I'll return on Friday, December 1st. That gets us through the move, gives me a chance to get my wife placated and get my computer set up. And then John and I can return with Friday Live and chat. And, hopefully I'll have some plans and things like that we can start chatting about.
Very good.
The koi high are all gone. A friend of mine came down from Orlando on Wednesday and picked up all my koi and all my supplies and so forth and so on. So.
Yeah.
Absolutely, James. You know, I really like the way Sparky's layout runs. And I'm picturing something similar, you know, where mine, it goes up, around, and then up and around again. And I think that'll be a nice layout. Okay. And having the loop backs will only be a single track loop back, and helix will be a double track helix, but in between the two areas will be a 3-track main line. All right. And that way when it loops back, and it's actually like one layer if it's going, you know, this way, it'll be like west. On the next layer, west will be that way. And then on the third level, it'll be the other way. So as the train's going forth, and it gets back to the top, and anyway, we'll have to watch that. So I got to play with that idea in my mind. Hey, Jerry, welcome. Yeah, I knew, James, you and Sparky were fairly close. So, well, John, have you gotten anything in the last few weeks that you want to share?
Well, I did have a pickup of I think that we discussed this last time we were on. I had picked up an old Atlas FP7, which I'm working on. It's of course a CNEI. This was hand decorated, so it's not perfect. But you know what? Going down the track, you won't be able to tell. I'm doing some things to it. I'm waiting for a package to arrive with my daughter tomorrow from my favorite hobby shop in Pinellas Park, Zitniks. I ordered a DCC system for this. I've already installed, or probably can't see, but right here I drilled the holes for the class lights. I'm wiring them up with some 0.5 millimeter surface mount LEDs, and all I had was clear, so I used a Tamiya, however you want to say it, translucent red spray paint, and I actually spray painted my LEDs. And they turned up red, so that works. So any of you that need to light something that you don't have the color of light that you need, think about purchasing the translucent Tamiya paints. And I had gotten that can probably 10 years ago. I had an old Suzuki Samurai whose taillights were white instead of red. They had faded so much they weren't red anymore. So I said, can I use this spray paint and spray paint the inside of those lenses and make it work? And sure enough, it worked fine. So luckily I still had that can of paint here, and it was still good after all those years. So
Cool.
I'm going to put in a Digitrax 166, and it's got a new number. Steve, it's the newer version of their 166. I can't remember what the last numbers on it were, but maybe I got it in my
If
email.
it's a sound code, it'll be like DH, or I don't remember, but yeah, it's the 166.
Yeah, they added another a letter to it to denote that it's the newer one. But yeah, I got that it's coming. He'll be here tomorrow. I saved shipping by having my daughter had flown from the Netherlands to Tampa to see her friend in St. Petersburg for a while, and then she flew from Tampa to Atlanta, and she's staying with my niece for a few days, and then tomorrow my niece and great niece and daughter will come over from northern Georgia, and we're going to have a little birthday celebration for my wife. It would have been her 63rd birthday tomorrow, and we'll have a little get together on that. My brother-in-law will be coming over too, and we'll go up to a little Mexican restaurant and have a little birthday party for her.
Good.
And
Good.
Yeah. So got that stuff coming. Of course, as usual, I ordered some more wheels and I ordered some more couplers. The basic things I order from them every time I order.
Right.
I still don't have enough wheels, and I still don't have enough couplers, so I'll be ordering them for quite some time. Um,
Yep.
Probably only an eighth of my rolling stock has metal wheels on them. So,
You want me
and
to run through your pictures?
yes, that'd be good.
All right. Let me
And
change some things here.
it's starting to get the time of weather up here that I don't have to mow the grass as much, so I can devote more time to my trains. Um, so I've been working a little bit. I've painted some more figures and I didn't get them in any order, Steve. So this is a good picture of the, well, it was, of the FP7. You can tell there by the main orange stripe down the side that it's not even. But again, going down the track, you're not going to be able to tell. I watched a YouTube video on a guy that was doing the difference between the Atlas FP7s. This is one of the early ones that was actually made by Roku, or however you say it, in Austria.
Roco.
However, the interior of it was not like any of the three that he said they produced there. I don't know if somebody had already modified this some or not, because he was talking about needing to isolate the motor. Well, on mine, the motor was isolated. So I don't know. I'm not sure. I know the body is the early one, because he went over the color. This was originally an undecorated black shell. So that would denote that it was first generation Atlas Roku body. But the chassis is just different than what he was showing. Even the interior of where the motor mount was different. So I don't know if somebody changed the shell on this or what. But the main problem I had with it was the couplers were mounted, and I think Steve, I think I have one picture of where I was working on the couplers. Um, that's the chassis there. It ran real good on DCC, but there's the cup. So the couplers for these are not truck mounted. They're not frame mounted. They're shell mounted. And what it had was a little drift pin that went down through to hold the coupler on. But I wanted to change over to whisker couplers that wouldn't fit in there. So what I had to do was modify the opening for the coupler. And then I also had to modify a coupler box, because I couldn't open it up enough to get the entire coupler box in there. So I actually had to cut the coupler box. And I've got half the box on the inside and half the box on the outside, or a third on the outside, third on the inside, and third is gone. But the shell is extra thick, so I don't think I'll have any problems with it breaking off. And I used a
Probably
screw in it.
not.
I used a screw in it instead of a pin, so I can't take it off easily. They seem to work. One sticks slightly. If I move it all the way over to the side, I just got to look in there and see if the whisker's catching or not, see what that problem is. But I put them on both front and back because I have another F7 unit that I may run it in tandem with. So,
Okay.
but it's turning out pretty good. I think at one time somebody had put DCC in it. The way that the wires had been reconnected to the motor, it looked like it had been modified at some time. It did not have a headlight in it. It didn't have a numbered lit number boards, so I'm going to be lighting the number boards and the headlight and running that all through the DCC chip along with the class lights. I've got the number boards. I'm working on them now. I've got the 0.5 millimeter cool or soft white LEDs in it. I've been painting more figures. I've got probably 50 more figures painted.
Oh, joy.
Oh yeah, I've got a couple hundred more to do. But that's something, I woke up at 2:30 one morning and couldn't get back to sleep, so I came out here and painted a bunch of figures. Something that doesn't bother anybody else.
Right.
So, but that's
Hey,
what I
whatever
got
works.
going. Oh yeah,
All
yeah.
right. Now I got to
Um,
figure out where I go back to. Let's go back here. There we go.
yeah.
Exit solo. There we go. There we go. All right.
So yeah, that's what I've been up to. I have cleaned up my layout boards some because I do hope to start working on them again, probably next week or the following week. Get some more put in, but I am making these modular so I can take them apart easily.
There you go.
Yeah, that's the whole thing is easily.
Hey, mine came apart easily.
It's called a sawzall. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you weren't going to try to move all your stuff. You were just going to cut it apart.
That's right. I have no emotional attachment to my bench work.
Yeah. Well, and it's like I'm trying to reuse my bench work from Florida. And of course, it doesn't work because my room was a complete different configuration than what I'm in now. And it's different than what I'm going to be in the shed. So,
Right.
what do you do? Um,
Yep.
with it being 14 feet of what I want to build, I'll be able to have a center peninsula all the way down through the center and still 3-foot aisles on both sides and maybe only a 2-foot wide on the outer edges of it. So, and I do plan on having a helix to get another level up, but my base level is at 53 inches up here. I may change that
Yeah.
though, because right now I've got workbench. I got my computer table set up underneath of it to
Right.
save room, and then over here behind me, I've got 2 tables that I work on, which the layout was supposed to be up about right there to match this side. So
Yep.
I may lower it.
Hey, Michael.
But
Mr. McCarville.
But yeah, I don't know. I may start building a shed because I would like to get going on a permanent layout. I'm tired.
Like
of
you say,
moving
once you start, you need to get it dried in at least.
Yeah, I know. That's the problem. Got to get floor in, got to get walls in, and got to get a roof on it. It may take a while for everything else, but unfortunately, lumber is supposed to start going up in cost here again. Yeah, so
wouldn't shock me.
Yeah. So it's the way it goes.
Well, John, I'm going to cut this thing short. I know it's only been a little, 45 minutes? Not even.
39 minutes and 21 seconds.
Yeah. As you can see, I still have a lot to do. All right. So, take another look. Ding. There we go. I got to get these 2 big cabinets out of here today and break down this computer so that I can cut up this desk because it is not making the trip.
Mm-hmm. And do you have a dumpster in your driveway?
I do. I do.
Ah, yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
about 3/4 filled already because
Yeah.
everything that was in here is already in the dumpster.
Hmm.
So,
Except for the ones that you're reusing.
all the bench work, everything
Well, I'm talking
that
about
I'm
the
not taking
cabinet.
with me is in everything that's not being moved is in the dumpster. So
Well, as
there's
we were talking
two
before, you are
cabinets. There's two cabinets in the dumpster.
okay. But the rest of the cabinets that, like the big one you have sitting there in that corner, you're taking them,
I'm going
right?
to try to move them. I'm going to
Okay.
try to move them. All right, but I'm going to have them filled with stuff. Because that's, nowadays they don't charge you for the move based upon hundredweight. They do it based upon cube. All right.
Uh-huh.
So everything that has a cubby will be stuffed.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the buildings I built are already in boxes or totes and stuff. So, but a lot of those won't be reusable. Everything that was in Aurora was truncated. Everything was for the most part built for a specific area on here that may not be the same way in Oklahoma City. So we'll play that by ear.
Yeah, but you can always modify them again.
Well, I
Yeah.
don't go back on them.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
we'll
It's
see.
like
It's all
me.
played
I bought some pre-made buildings, and I've modified several of them to work really just about any place. So it is possible.
Well, when you cut away, John, when you cut away 3/4 of the first floor, and all you have is a fascia on the first floor, that's not typically reusable again, unless you have an elevated area for it to do the same thing.
Yeah,
And I don't know
that's-
that I will. So,
Mhm.
We'll just we'll have to play it by ear and see what I come up with as far as track plan and stuff goes. So it will be what it will be. Anyway, I want to thank everybody. Hey, Gus. Movie is a big pain in the ass. Yes, it is.
Yes.
This will be my wife's and my 10th move since we got married. Number 10.
Let's see. My wife and I only moved 4 times
So,
in 42 years.
yeah.
Of course, one place we were at for 35 years. So, yeah, you tend to collect a lot of stuff with long periods of time in the same house.
That's one nice thing. We have cleaned house 10 times. So,
Yeah.
and we still have a lot of junk. So anyway, with that, everybody, again, thank you for joining John and I today on Friday Live here at the Retirement Railroad 1.0. We'll be back on the 1st of December. All right, we're taking a few weeks off so that I can get settled in at the new house. I'll do a tour of the new house as part of that Friday Live. So with that, again, thanks, everybody.
Take care.